This is the brand new Caddy Cargo Maxi. Yes, that's absolutely right. It is now the Caddy Cargo, not just the Caddy, and this is the Maxi version, simply the largest you can get. It is a generational improvement over its predecessors, having been improved in multiple areas that I'll touch on later. And in my opinion, it is quite simply the best Caddy yet. But before we get going and get into all the nitty-gritty, if you like this video, I sincerely hope you'll give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel and click the bell to get notified whenever we post new content just like this. And if you are in the market for a brand new van, car or pickup truck, head to Vanarama.com. Don't forget to check out all the leasing deals. Now, with no further ado, let's give the VW Caddy Cargo Maxi its very own Vanarama road test. This is the latest generation of the VW Caddy, now called the VW Caddy Cargo. It is a massive upgrade on previous generations of the Caddy and is still based on the Golf platform. That's right, this is still based on the same platform that you'll see in Golfs and even the Audi TT. How amazing is that? So, you know, obviously let's do the whole, it's a Golf platform, it's a Caddy van, Golf Caddies, no, you know, that sort of stuff. Now we've got that all out of the way, let's focus on what's different. New engines, new suspension, new trim levels, loads of tech, and I've got to say, a far, far improved cabin, filled with tech, filled with comfort, better materials, and a really nice steering wheel, which is kind of covered with leather, chrome. It looks great, it really does. Now this particular version of the Caddy Cargo is the long wheelbase version that I'm driving right now, and forever VW have referred to the longest version of the Caddy as the Maxi. So this is the Caddy Cargo Maxi. Okay, and it is also available as a short wheelbase version as well, which is just called the Caddy Cargo Standard, I think, or just the Caddy Cargo. Maybe that one's just the Caddy Cargo. This particular version of the Maxi has the 7-speed automatic DSG gearbox. Now, I am a big fan of the VAG group, or VAG group, and having previously owned a Mark 1 TT, I can tell you just how awesome the DSG gearboxes are. I absolutely love them, and it's great to see that they're still being used in vehicles just like this. You can get the Caddy Cargo in manual, and you can also get the Maxi in manual as well. That's a 6-speed gearbox, which is just as efficient, I've been told. But next review of the Caddy that you are going to see will be of a manual short wheelbase version. So look forward to that. You've got your automatic Maxi and you're going to have your manual Caddy Cargo Standard as well. 2 reviews for the price of 1, although we have to get 2 vehicles in, so it doesn't really work, but don't worry about it because you're going to get 2 reviews and that's all that matters. Now the new ranges of Caddy are all front wheel drive vehicles, but you can, if you are a UK leaser, I'm not going to say UK buyer, if you are a UK leaser, get your hands on a 4-wheel drive version if you wanted. How awesome is that? I love the fact that it's almost this kind of incidental, like, oh, by the way, you can also get this van with 4-wheel drive. Great. Okay, brilliant, I'll take it. I'm looking forward to it. VW, if you want to let us have one so that we can try it out, that would be great. I really want to get behind the wheel of one of those. So what are we packing under the bonnet? Okay, so 2-litre diesel engines and 3 outputs. 75, 102 and 122 horsepower. This range of diesel engines also boasts a claimed 57.6 miles per gallon, but I think real world you're looking at least 10 to 15, maybe even 20 below that, but that's still pretty damn efficient, I think, even for a small van of this size. Out of those 3 power outputs, I genuinely believe the 102 horsepower version of the diesel engine is the one that I think will become the pick of the litter, if you like. It will, I think, 102 horsepower with the payload and also the spec on that particular engine, I believe offers the best combination of bang for buck against performance. So it's not only good on return on investment for your money and your fuel savings, but it also offers you quite a bit of poke. You'll also find that the Caddies have a petrol engine option. I know, VW are absolutely sticking to their guns in offering petrol engines, and this particular one is a 1.5 litre petrol engine outputting 114 horsepower. If you want it, great. Okay, so far so good. There must be a catch, right? And in my opinion, yes, there is. For me, payload is where the VW Caddy Cargo, whether it be Maxi or standard form, kind of falls down. Now, I've had to do a bit of maths because VW never seem to add the weight of passengers and drivers to their unladen payload ratings in their brochures. So I've had to do the maths myself. So I've added 75 kilograms for the driver because they don't. So payload, in my opinion, according to my mathematics, starts at around 680 kilograms for the highest spec short wheelbase version if you take the biggest engine. That goes up to around 750 kilograms if you go for that four-wheel drive version that UK leasers will be able to get their hands on if they want to. Let's put that into simple factual terms. It's not as much as a lot of other small vans currently available on the market, and I'm in particular putting it against the PSA group vans, so Citroën, Peugeot and Vauxhall, and of course Toyota's small and medium vans. It just simply doesn't carry as much weight. Those vans are quite capable of carrying just over 1,000 kilograms, you know, the magic number. The VW Caddy Cargo can't. We can get into an argument, if you like, in the comments below about why it doesn't matter that it can't carry up to 1,000 kilograms, but I genuinely believe that in a small van sector, the likes of which we have right now, you have to compete on the areas where it counts. And peace of mind that you can carry everything you could ever possibly want to carry in terms of weight in the back of this vehicle, I think that is a major plus point for other vans over this one. But if you do find yourself just carrying 2 pallets of stuff that, you know, might get yourself 400, 500 kilograms of payload, then this van will absolutely carry it. It will also look absolutely fantastic while it does it. So there we go. I'm going to finish up by saying that driving this vehicle is really nice and comfortable. Vag Group know how to make a comfy cabin, and I've got to say that the Caddy's cabin of today is a much improved version on its predecessors. Driving it is very comfortable, it's responsive, it feels light to the touch, even though this is the biggest of the 2 versions of the Caddy that you can get your hands on. The automatic gearbox is an absolute joy to drive with, and I cannot wait to see how the manual matches up, because I love a manual vehicle. I like to know where the power is going, and I like to know where I'm putting it. On automatic, I just kind of sit back and let the vehicle handle itself, and it feels a bit like a poople, but I like to drive a van. So, the manual, I'm really excited to see how it goes, but I've got to say that the DSG gearbox, phenomenal. It does a great job, and it's really good to see it still being used in this vehicle. So there you go. That is everything I wanted to cover on the driving section of this review, and I believe the producer is telling me, yes, we're going to be going to me standing by the Caddy Cargo Maxi when it's parked. Me? Thanks, me. As me said, here I am standing by this vehicle, and I'm at the front end because that is somewhere where you can visibly see some big improvements. I mean, it just looks really cool, really cutting edge, like something out of a cyberpunk movie. It's awesome. And that badge has never looked better. It's obviously had a little bit of a redesign. It's a little bit bigger in the front. Hey, gotta love it. There's even some honeycomb going on down there, but come and have a look at the side. The side is massive, and there's this big area just here, which is absolutely crying out for you to put your branding. You could put some branding here, or you could split it across the 2 panels. There is one side sliding door on the driver's side, which means, very curious, because usually they're on the passenger side. Yes, you get 2 side sliding doors with the Maxi. How freaking awesome is that? But you haven't even seen the back end yet, because it also has a nicely redesigned logo. I mean, the Caddy writing has never looked better. Again, you've got a slightly smaller version of the badge here, and again, you've got some nice sort of blank canvas spaces that you could put your own branding on. Let's open it up. Got to find the handle, which is nicely hidden inside just underneath where that writing is. And there's a little catch down here, which opens them up to 90 degrees. And when you disengage the door locks, just like that, they open up to their 180 degrees. And that's your lot. They don't swing round flush or anything like that, but the Caddy has always been about simplistic access, and you get really good accessibility. I mean, let's just take a moment, look at the ply lining. VW ply lining is always really, really damn good, and I have to say it's looking fantastic in there. People have often criticised me for getting excited about ply lining, but when you get it free of charge when you lease with Vanarama, that is actually something to get excited about. Thank you very much. Anyway, all the information about the loading bay will be whizzing around me right now. The length, the width, what it's like between the arches, how high it is, how much maximum payload it can carry, what it can tow, it's all going to be appearing around me, and it's all worth your consumption. Right, there is obviously a second side sliding door on this side of the vehicle, so I'll just show you that quickly before we go. And here it is on the passenger side, the side sliding door, which, as I've said about the other one, gives you excellent access into the flexible loading bay. Now, one of the places that the Caddy has always needed to improve was the cabin. And I'm very pleased to say that this version has. So let's get in there now and have a look. And here we are. It's never too dark to be cool, but in the interior of the Caddy, it is too dark to be cool and wear those sunglasses. So here we are. As you can see, this looks completely different to the VW Caddy interiors of old. This is now all flashing lights, computer screens. I mean, this is what the interior of a modern small van should look like. It actually feels like the Caddy has kind of caught up with some of the other small vans available in the sector. So let's start at the beginning. Let's have a look around and see what we can see. First impressions are that there is ample storage in the front here. In fact, actually, these are probably some of the biggest and deepest storage bins that I've seen indoors of small vans for quite some time. I've got to say, it's very nice. I feel like it's almost overflowing. There's like a little bin down here, some cup holders here, a little tray, two very deep door pockets. There's nothing above my head, but that's not too much of a problem. And there is a very nice big storage bin right in front of me, you know, just over the top of the steering wheel, which is very cool. Though I would imagine if you do stick anything in there, they might reflect on the windscreen. Just one to watch out for. The seats are very comfortable and are blessed with some new fabric, which looks like they've been taken from one of the cars, I've got to say. It probably isn't. And considering this is based on the Golf platform, I'd probably hazard a guess and say it's probably taken from the Golf's fabric range. The steering wheel is almost certainly from the Golf, and you know what? That's not a bad thing. It's nice, it's sporty, it's kind of got a flat bottom, pleather, a little bit of sort of brushed aluminium effect around the controls, which, to be fair, it looks like there's everything I need in a really convenient place. You've got volume controls on the left-hand side, along with your speed limiter, and actually sort of your rangefinder as well. And then on the right-hand side, you've got your sort of general menu display buttons, you've got your skip function, and your voice control function button is there as well, because this has voice control. This is the automatic, so you've also just behind it got some gear selection paddles as well. You've got some very nice stalks, which again look like they've been taken straight out of the Golf. And those are, I mean, they just go together to make a very nice looking kind of control cluster for you. It's great, really, really good. The dashboard and the instrumentation on there is also very clear. I mean, look, this is a badge group car. They know how to make pretty good cockpits. And I got to say, it's all very nice and clear. You've got your speedo on the right-hand side, you've got your rev counter on the left, and you've got a nice DID, driver information display, sat in the middle, which shows you the normal stuff, range, miles per gallon, you know, etc., your fuel consumption, that sort of stuff. As I said, on top of the dashboard, there's no cup holders or anything like that. It's a small van. They don't tend to have cup holders on the left and right, although try telling that to Ford. There is a nice big storage bin, which is really cool actually, and it stretches from one side of the dashboard all the way to the other. You could definitely fit a few things in there, but as I said, because it's open topped, some of the stuff you're going to put in there is probably going to actually reflect on the windscreen, so just watch out for that on particularly sunny days. You know, maybe don't stick something bright gleaming white in there, otherwise you are going to get a bit of glare. Track along the dashboard and you get to the, well, it's not even an elephant in the room. It's just a great big infotainment touchscreen. It's got a brand new operating system, and while some of the buttons may be a bit laggy and it may not necessarily be the best infotainment operating system I've ever used, it is a massive improvement in that area for VW vans. I mean, everything that's gone before, it's been all right, hasn't been great, but this one is definitely a lot better. Moving down, you've got some really nice tasteful buttons. You've got some vents here. You've got your hazard light button, which just sits in the middle of some climate control, and your assistance button as well. It's a really cool place to put those buttons, and they look really unobtrusive. Down below that, you get to one of my favorite areas of vans, which is their sort of driver convenience areas. And this one feels like a little bit of a kind of a veritable play park of delights, which might be the most flouncy and ridiculous way to describe what is essentially just a few storage trays. Now at the front, you've got a nice little storage tray, which I imagine is where they intend for you to put your smartphone when you're charging using one of the two USB-C connection points, which is very, very modern, but for some of you, you may need to get yourself an adapter to use those properly. Behind that, you've got another little tiny tray, which is about the size of a fun-sized Lion bar, with the gear selector and drive selector switch here, because of course this, as I said, this is the 7-speed automatic DSG version. So you just have this little nubbin right here, which is how you control whether you're in drive, sport, neutral or reverse. You also have a big P button here. You don't have to just select that. You literally just press the button, puts it into park, and then you can use the electric handbrake, which sits just behind it. You've also got 2 cup holders, which I actually snubbed when I first got into this and thought, well, they don't look anything like they're going to be able to hold anything. They're square, and most cups are round, aren't they? Just going to be rattling around. But no, I go into my favourite big brand coffee shop and I stuck my cup in there and it didn't go anywhere. So more fool me. And behind that, you've just got a nice kind of little area down here, which is quite nice. Got a sort of rubberized bottom. And then behind that, you've got, well, nothing else but the bulkhead, which is very nice and strong and sturdy. And that's it, very nice. Okay, one last bit of storage, the glove box, which of course is where you're going to find your manual, your logbook, and your locking wheel nuts. And that's it. Yes, so with no further ado, I'm going to go back to me driving. Me? Thanks, me. I'm back. So, how do we finish this one? Well, look, overall, I've got to say the Caddy Cargo Maxi is a great option in the small van sector right now, but ultimately, the Vauxhall, Citroën, Peugeot and Toyota small vans beat it in an area that I believe it counts, which is payload. That being said, however, the latest Caddy is the best Caddy yet. This is a proper generational shift for this van. It is new in almost every way that it is meaningful to be these days. The Caddies have always had slightly lower payloads than their competitors, and yet people drive them in their dozens. In my opinion, it doesn't really matter. If you need to carry heavy weight, go for a heavyweight van. If you don't, go for this and you'll have yourself a superb, practical small van. It also packs killer looks.